sky. Mama taught her well, praise the gods, any shape, any form, conjure up a storm cloud. It rained, it pours, let it fall down. Spirit dance, Cherokee, Blackfoot, put a pound to the ground. Two-step is all it took. Hey, I used to run from the sound of the drums. Cause spirit would hear it, and spirit would come. African dance. Rhythm of the king can be the sounds of life. But we should dance, got me moving in the trance. Circle motion got me going and going. African dance. African dance, 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 hey. I used to run from the sound of the drums. Cause spirit would hear it, the spirit would come. I never felt this feeling before, but my body moving around like it already know. I just release, let go. All them burdens I've been bearing, I ain't carrying no more. I reach high, feel low. Let your chakras open up, let the feeling in your soul get high, feel low. Let your chakras open up, let the feeling in your soul. African dance.
Peace and infinite blessings, family. Welcome to Journey to Be Ma'at. I am Farugh Ma'at, and my co-host is here. Introduce yourself, young man.
This is Brother Kamua Haru.
Ashe. Founder of the Urban Shaman Production Company. And then we have our other co-host who's doing what he do behind the scenes, so he'll be joining us shortly. So we're going to start out. We have a guest, but we're not going to do our rituals first. This is the opportunity. Let's take this time to do our verbal libations, and we want to pay homage and honor to those ancestors, those personal ancestors who helped us on this journey to be Ma'at, right? And so to the hundreds of millions known and unknown, for those who struggle, strategize, and sacrifice and work for our benefit, we are the sum of your love, your efforts, and support. And you take this opportunity to highlight one or two who personally assist us on this journey to be Ma'at and be the best versions of ourselves. And so for me, it's for my grandma today. I say to my grandma, she was very impactful of who I am. And my grandma was a G. My grandma was a G. And they don't make them like that no more. Grandmas are out partying with the daughter and the grandchild these days. And so to have someone to just lead you and guide you in morals and in a very unique way. Yeah. In a very unique way. Because she'll bust you to the white meat as well if you don't listen. But those lessons have guided me to be the person that I am today, that I'm extremely proud that who I am and the things that I have done thus far on this planet. And she's a huge part of that. And so this show is dedicated to my grandma. Mary Dolores Waters.
Mary Dolores
Waters.
Waters.
Yeah, I say. So, Kamora, you have somebody specifically you would like to shout out?
Absolutely. I'm feeling that feminine energy. I want to give a verbal libation to Pearline Johnson, my mother.
I say. All right, I know we didn't formally introduce you yet, but you want some shout out someone?
My mother. I'm number one fan. My rock, Margaret Renee Taylor Bell. She's an ancestor for a long, long time now.
I say. And so this month is dedicated to women's empowerment and liberation. And so, who else? It's just an honor to have the opportunity and the platform to just pay homage and just have all women, African women owners this month. And we're going to kick it off with Simply Netfah. But we're going to also say that this platform was created with you in mind to how to balance the scales of my art in your life to maintain the balance, because that's what it's all about, right? It's all about maintaining balance. And it's our goal by sharing our stories and our experiences on many life-affirming topics that we add value to your journey to be my art, right? And so, and if you're not really into the comedic way of living, it still helps you to be the best version of yourself, right? These are all universal topics. These are all universal shares. And so it's about being the best version of yourself. And if we can assist you in that, then this is what this platform is about. All right, so we do have our dynamic guest here today, Simply Netfah, and she's going to tell you what she wants you to know about her.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yes.
I've been on every time we try to make this happen.
We got it right this time.
We're here, we're holding space. So my name is Netfah Amina Afia. I am a wraptologist and a holistic clothing designer and a healer and a creative. And I've been following that journey, honoring that pathway for over 30 years. And willfully, with the whole sum of it being to raise the vibrations and to really help women to define their beauty for themselves and to empower and inspire them to, take a more mindful approach to adornment, realize the power of adornment, and to heal in the process, because Jim Crow has done a number on us in our identification and defining of our sense of self and beauty, and it's crippled us along the journey, And so if I can help to like reverse that, or at least kind of introduce another way of looking at ourselves, and again defining ourselves for ourselves, especially as it comes to our identity with this vessel that we use, and how to adorn it in a way that is most empowering, then my job is pretty well done. Yeah.
She has done that. So would you started when she was 3?
Just about. I was doing no joke. Like if my mother was right here right now, she would attest to it. But I used to draw. I always drew, like fashion. And when I was younger, because I was very insular, shy, quiet, and my expressions, spoke to that. Like I was very soft spoken, and even in my drawings, like I would draw amazing designs, like this big though. It was like you gotta get a microscope to see all the details. So yeah, I've been designing seriously since I could probably hold a pencil. So certainly in my elementary years.
Yeah, you say 30 years. I'm like, no, there's no way. Like,
that's in the industry.
Right.
That's, once I got in the industry, it was 30 years in the industry so far. Yeah.
That's what I said.
37, actually, 37.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That so you really got into the industry when you was 3.
I got into the industry when I was 17. Yeah.
Don't look like it,
Do
right?
the math on that.
Right, do the math on that, right? So, and we have, as a man, I have definitely benefit from the adornment process, right? And I know it's for women, but I definitely benefit from your work, right? And did shows together and things like that. And so, even though we are dealing with and focusing on women, but again, these messages are universal. We're going to talk about color therapy. We're going to touch on the power of natural fabric, the healing powers of adornment, right? So it's even though you look good, but it also has impact on your brain. It has impact on and on so many levels. On so many levels, has impact, and a lot of times we deal with fashion from just the aesthetic, right? We like, oh well, we look good, or we just throw stuff on, but we don't think about the energy that we're ingesting, right? And so we're going to bring some awareness to your fashion sense today, right? We're going to dig deep into that world, into where we could become more beneficial to us. We could become more free, right? Because that's what it's all about. It's not about, for me, it's not about wearing the polos. It's not about wearing the Nikes and things like that. It's about self-expression. It's about a sense of belonging, right? And this is why when you talk about cultural model, like that's my whole thing. Like I'm not rocking anything unless it's cultural. That's just putting African people in a positive light. So if you're listening and you're looking, if you have any questions, put in the chat and we'll address those questions as they come. So this is a divine journey for you. This is your life purpose. When did you become aware that this is your life purpose?
I would say probably around 17 when I came into culture consciousness. Prior to that, I was making clothes. I was always creative. I was making clothes. I was designing clothes, and then I was making clothes. My last year in high school, I started actually taking, the designs and manifesting them. I'm self-taught. So I did go to school. I went to school for business. Graduated. Actually went to school for consumer and family sciences, which is like the trendy term or trendy title for home economics, the consumer and home economics and family economics. And then with a specialization in fashion merchandising business, because I wanted to get the business side of it. The creative side, the sewing, the technical side, just kind of, again, I'm self-taught in that area. And so it kind of comes through me that way. And I'm a consummate student of my craft. So I'm still teaching myself different applications, different ways of constructing, manipulating fabric, learning fabric, fashion, that sort of thing. And so the calling came around that time. When I came into culture consciousness, there was always it's interesting because even still, right? So I make the clothes, I design clothes, make the clothes, and that is a gift that comes through me. And there's energy in that comes through me into the garments that I create. But it's always, as a fashion designer or a designer who happens to know how to sew. Like I would never claim seamstress. Right. I know seamstresses. Right. And I don't have that skill set. Right. But I certainly know how to sew. So I know how to manipulate fabric and create from that perspective.
That's a great point. That is a great point.
But
right.
The interesting part about my craft, and I know we'll talk about as as the conversation unfolds, is that it's never been just about the clothing. even as a wraptologist, teaching women how to wrap their hair, it's never been just about the head wrap. It's about, you know, with that clothing, when for me, it's like a catalyst that gets me into the circles of women to do the real work, which is the healing and liberation and the education and empowering. Because, you know, this is like the avenue to segue in, because ultimately it's about the healing. Clothing has a healing component to it, especially when you bring a consciousness to your adornment, to your way of dressing. You know, traditionally in the indigenous cultures, in our culture, from the age of antiquity, everything we put on our body had meaning. It's the outward expression of an inner consciousness. And my role is to help bring that back. And along the way, to help women and men too, though, you know, redefine what beauty is for themselves. Instead, especially women of color, because we've really been told a different narrative, and we're still working through a lot of that. You know? And there's so much there's such an empowering, there's a way of empowering ourselves through our clothing that can go past the trend, right? The trend makes us feel like, you know, we in flow with the, you know, the fashions and stuff, but it's so much deeper than that. There's so much more to be gained by that, you know.
But then I think that's a sense of belonging. We're still yearning for that acceptance from that power structure.
Absolutely.
From the quote unquote dominant class, right? And so
even from our peers sometimes, you know.
Yeah. Because that's the standard. That's the standard. And so we're creating a new standard. And that's what I love about what you just said. It's like the expression of inner consciousness. And that is profound. That is super profound. So I don't want to take up all the time.
Yeah.
So, Kamul, you have a question? Okay. Okay, well then I'll just move on. So that's a chat. They now it's not using using on the chat. So let's talk about the colors, the color, the healing power of the colors that we use, that you use, that we all use, sometimes consciously or subconsciously we use it. And let's educate the folks on the colors, what the benefit of rocking those colors. Can they change your behavior? Can they alter, behavior?
Well, they can subdue or enhance energy. So color is only color because of light. We wouldn't see color if we didn't have the sun. You know, it is an energetic reflection from the light of the sun. And as humans, we see the world in certain colors, which is different than different species of life, right? So cats might see it one way, a bird might see it a different way. And there are colors in this matrix that our iris doesn't register. You know, I think there's like 14 million colors. Like all, the ones that we take in are the ones that we need to take in for identification purposes and that sort of thing.
Exactly.
So, with that being said, to the query of, can it change our energy? Certainly, color has a way of subduing or enhancing our own energies. Color's frequency, it's energy, we're frequency, we're energy. It's the reason why it's a pure science, it's not just esoteric talk, the power of color and the transformational capabilities of color to shift your energy is scientifically based. It's why, like in the ancient solariums of Egypt, they were able to heal their people in their color solariums, bring a light in to heal them from different ailments and that sort of thing. So there's some validity to it for sure. So I treat it from that perspective, from how can we use color to, transform our energy, right? We know very well how the industry, the marketing industry, which, anyone who's gone up, who's, studied art or is in that field, graphic arts, we know that 85% of consumer marketing is so that backwards. Color is used to manipulate consumer purchases and to formulate marketing tactics. 85% of the time, like that's what they use to change and manipulate our consumer purchases, or to promote their items and things like that. And so, if we can use that same science to our benefit instead of to manipulate us, then that's what we're teaching. So that's how I teach it when I teach it in the classes. What I'm doing, whether I'm teaching art of head wrapping or the science of dress, I'm always going to talk about color and how we can make use of that science to subdue or enhance our energies, to change or alter our space that we live in, the energies on our body, and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. And I know that's because we talk about like the color red, we talk about the color orange, like a lot of the fast food restaurants use those colors.
Yeah, when you think about colors, when you think about it as a science coming from that perspective, and especially the marketing industry, you don't have to think so hard. Like, just give some examples to your point. When you think about fast food restaurants, right? You don't see like grays and greens and blues. You see that orange, you see that red, you see that yellow. When you think about Burger King, Taco Bell, McDonald's, you can name more. But there's a strategy to the use of color, right? Because we know that orange is the appetite stimulator. We know red, the iris picks up red in 3 seconds or less. It's the most noticeable color to the iris. We know that orange is also that happy color, right? So, on a psychological level, you can see how you can use that and in a subliminal way, certainly, to bring in, to allure folks to kind of like be drawn to that fast food, And it's used, we live in a world of color, and there's so many examples we could use to support the fact that it does have an effect on us in one way or another. So again, I teach it from the perspective of the empowering perspective. How can we use this tool? Because it's a tool. How can we use it to kind of shift our energy, in our space, on our person, to serve us as opposed against us?
Yeah, that's so dynamic. That's like you said the word tool.
Yeah,
and we don't think about it from that perspective. It's like, oh, we just put it on because it matches my sneaks, or
it's the color that's in that season. It's the color that you've been told because of your complexion that this color looks better on you. But it really comes down to our energy. I tell anybody, like anytime I'm sitting down in consultation with someone, they want a collection made. My first question to you is, what color you vibing? What color you vibing with? Because 9 times out of 10, whatever color you really vibe, and a lot of times, maybe it's a color that you never normally would vibe, but what you're vibing with it, you just kind of been drawn to it. This season, it's kind of weird. 9 times out of 10 is something that your body needs energetically, and it's going to look amazing on you because it's vibrating with you energetically. Whereas the industry would say, well, if you're a certain skin tone or a certain hue, you can only wear warm colors or cold colors, or I don't know. I'm sure there's some validity to that. I'm sure they've done some science on that one too. But at the end of the day, energy is energy. And I think that trumps a lot of what the standard quo says you're supposed to wear or can't wear because of your skin tone.
So when you ask the client, what colors are you vibing to? Is that how would a person know what they vibe to?
I should say, right. So I'm using this kind of little slang, the vibing with, right? But what colors are you resonating? What color do you find yourself drawn to at that season, at that time? Some of us has very staple colors, like we'll either red is our color all year long, all season long, whatever. But then there's sometimes, like during the pandemic, case in point, a lot of my clients were calling looking for yellow, right? They didn't know there was each calling looking for yellow. It's not like they It's not like there was anything going on during that time that said yellow is the color that's in and everyone should go. But energetically, it made so much sense because we're talking about a time frame where there's major programming going on, major shifts in energy, and that yellow resonates with our solar plexus, which is where our intuition lies, our connection to source lies, you know, that gut feeling, that spiritual piece, that yellow. And a lot of sisters and men were looking for yellow, you know, whether they knew why or not.
Right. Right.
You know, I understood why, so we would share about that. But again, that's nothing that was, the industry didn't dictate that. You know, that was something on a frequency level or an energy level that people were needing. You know, whether they overstood the fullness of it or not, right? Because now you have that yellow on you. It's a frequency. It's 5-1-year frequency. It has the ability to now enhance that, you know, those properties, which is, and also too is yellow resonates with like the intellect. That's why highlighters and post-its helps to stimulate their memory. And a lot of us need to remember.
This is why she's so, yo. This is why she's so.
Remember instead of forgetting history around that time. So I, you know, ask people there from that perspective, and certainly, you know, encouraging it. And usually, like I said, on a aesthetic level, or you know, a beautification level, oftentimes when we are drawn to a certain color, whether that color ever used to look good on us or not, especially if we're drawn to pretty hard, it's not just like a passing thing. You look amazing. You look amazing because this is vibrating on this whole other frequency.
And the body's getting what it needs. And so
right, and that too, because it's the opposite too. Like say someone's struggling with an area in their body, right? Say a man or woman is feeling disconnected from spirit, feeling you know, like they need a focus, they're having a hard time focusing, right? So that's an internal thing that's happening. That's where you can again use it as a tool. Now you can say, okay, well, you weren't drawn to this yellow, but I see you have some troubles focusing. Let's get some yellow around you to help you focus. You know, in case in point, there's several school districts that, you know, peep the science of that. And in their classes where students who have ADD, ADHD, they would the core of that room was yellow, with a lot of yellow highlights in that room because of the science, because they know, they did the science that shows that yellow helps the students to focus, you know. So it's a two-way thing, right? You can have it inspired, you know, you can be inspired energetically to wear the yellow, or it can be kind of like used as a tool, even if you're not aware of it, right? So can put some yellow on.
Yeah, so that's why I thought that was an excellent point when you were saying that the body is calling for that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you don't even know why. Because I'm not. Yeah, I just grab something sometimes, and sometimes I have these rituals where each day represents an entity, like a Netaru, or a Risha.
Yes.
And so I go towards that for that day in honor of them. But there's some days that even though I'm supposed to wear yellow for Tahuti and Oshun, whatever the case may be, but my body be calling for something else.
Right.
And I have to honor that, even though, you know, I still say my prayers to Oshun and Tahuti, but I'm like, for whatever reasons, I need this color today.
Yeah.
And so I rock that color.
It's about trusting that, especially if it's calling hard, you know, it's about trusting it, that it is doing some kind of work with you on your behalf, that can serve you. Yeah.
This gave me a new appreciation for that. Because we so caught up in a rat race. We so caught up in doing. And I really appreciate the fact that I do honor those things when they come through, like when the messages come through, I honor it, but I don't sit with it.
Yeah.
And so this dialogue was helping me take the time to say, you know, when that happens, sit with that. Whatever that whatever that purpose was.
Yeah.
Right? Because I put it on, I keep it moving, and I might get the benefit of it. But if I sit with it, I could get the fullness of it. Then I can understand, like, oh, I can get it all. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I definitely, that's going to trigger me from now on. And that's why this is why I have this with me. Because during these conversations, some jewels are dropped, and I don't want to forget.
Yeah.
Right?
Can I chime in for a question?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and this conversation is definitely stimulating a lot of thoughts for me. And the question I have is, I guess, is for brothers and sisters. The fact that, you know, wearing your garbs is like wearing an armor. You know, especially, traversing within, inner city dwellings. You know, you are coming up against all kinds of things. So, I mean, this question is for the both of you, and I can share mine when you're done. But like, you know, I know that we have come into I can speak for myself, conscious awareness at a certain age, and so my question is for you, the fact that, um, you know, have you experienced, like what is the differences and, in your dress that you experienced that like you felt like wearing a particular garb and cultural wear, you know, sort of like shield you from, conflict or, forces that's, trying to get at you?
I tell you, the strongest testimony to that is wearing white. Anytime I put white on, or anytime I put black on. Black is a power color for me and for many folks, but black absorbs energy, good, bad, or indifferent. And so there's a very strong mindfulness I walk with when I have black on, which is a rarity these days. I used to be clad in black because, again, it's my power color. But you absorb a lot of energy, and you don't know, like if you're in a space where it's all love and high vibration, that's great, absorb it all day long. A lot of times we're stepping in from safe space to the concrete jungle and all this kind of, and it really energy can attach itself to that. So that white to your query is when I feel it the most. When I put that white on, there's a lightness that I feel, and maybe it's because of my knowledge of the white and how it reflects energy. Black absorbs, white reflects, just like melanin absorbs, and non-melanated skin reflects. That's why certain frequencies that those with less melanin can pick up on. But that's where I would say, and it makes so much sense that a lot of our indigenous practices, whether it's ceremonial rituals, rites of passage, they wear that white because also white reflects a culmination of all the colors. If you put all the colors together on top of each other, right? Like color, it turns white. It don't turn black. Which almost makes no sense, right? Because white is lighter, right? So you would think you put all these colors together, it's going to turn black, it turns white. And in many Eastern cultures, they wear white during funerals because it's a reflection of our life experiences. That's what the white kind of symbolizes. So I would say that white, when I put that on, that's when I noticed the shift the most. There's certainly been other colors that, like when I put my brown on, it is grounding. There's been times where, in my testimonies, where colors I wouldn't identify as a shape-shifting experience for me, but other people would. And that's this story I always share because it's such a testimony of the color pink, right? So pink is like, anyone knows me, never don't do pink. Yeah, there's no pink in my closet. But I was drawn to pink this one season many years ago. I was drawn to pink out of nowhere. Like it just any kind of soft pink I was drawn to, and I was confused. And, but at the same time, I'm doing my research for this, so, for some of the things I talk about today. And pink is love, void of passion. It's just unconditional love, right?
Wow.
So, of course, I'm doing the research for my classes, and I'm saying, okay, so how does that resonate with me? Like, I'm drawn to this pink. I've never been drawn before. People around me who see me, like, they're noticing this energy shift, like, did you change something with your hair? They're trying to understand why the energy feels different, right? In a good way, I was like, I don't know. So I'm doing that research, and I realized that around that same time, I had separated from a mate, and I had all this like unconditional love left for them. It wasn't the kind of like, I want you back, I'm in pain. Like, it was nothing like that. It was like this unconditional love. And that pink came into my closet. It stayed there for maybe 3 months and went back out again. And it hasn't been back since. But that's my strongest testimony to the effects of that energy on me, because this is what other people are seeing, like this glow or whatever like that. I might not have felt it as much, but I certainly felt drawn to the pink. And it made perfect sense that aligned with what I was transitioning through in my own personal journey, so that's a great question, because a lot of times too, and not to belabor, but certainly there's certain colors that for the most part across the board. When I say across the board, I mean in my research, I'm pulling from indigenous cultures, some African cultures, Asian, like across the board, that are synonymous, the same thing, like that blue. That blue is that calming energy, right? But if you grew up in an abusive household and your mother, in punishment, she always put you in the blue room. That blue might not be so calm for you, right? So even though, historically or energetically that blue resonates, if you have a traumatic life experience or, that would, connect that blue to this punishment, it might not have the same effect on you. And I'm real clear on that too. So these are really generalized to a certain degree. But with the clarity and the mindfulness that people might have specific situations that might just deter that whole thing.
It's life experience shapes us.
It really does.
It really does.
That's a traumatic one.
And so that's a great question. I guess I'm gonna answer things.
Okay, good. Okay.
I really like this Be My Eye role. I think I'm going to do this more often. But for me, I would agree with the white. The white has always been the safe haven for me, and protection. Oh man, everything that she said about the white, I would second that. That's my color. That's my go-to color when I'm facing anything, or I need assistance, or if I need to sit still, if I'm looking for answers, if it brings clarity, it brings me clarity. So that was a great question, and I'm going to build on that more. I never consciously really sat with that. But I just know when the opposition comes, I know that's my go-to. I go right in my closet and have like 6-7 different white outfits that I put on to help me navigate whatever it is that I'm going to, and it helps me to get the answers that I need to move forward in a more productive, positive manner. You know what I mean? So. Great question, bro. What's your story?
Yeah. Well, I got a lot of stories, but I'll share one. I am at times, and as you mentioned, I'm intentional about the colors that I wear, but at times it's just unintentional, but, subconsciously I'm, drawn, just like Netfah, explain, I'm just drawn to certain colors, but I like variety of colors. I think, of late, I have been incorporate more white into my wardrobe. I wasn't really big on it, but it's definitely a vibration when a very high vibration when you wear it. I guess it was more for me. It was like it's white, and I mean, I don't know what my day is going to end like, but but it's always a good vibration, always when I wear it. But just dressing for me, culturally has been beneficial. To be honest, remember I was hanging out with a sister late night, and then we were just hanging out. I think we went out to dance or whatever. And then one night, I mean, it's like in the wee hours of the night, she's like, "I want to get some chicken wings," from who knows what, Chinese store. And I was like, "Oh, I'm not really feeling it," because when going to these certain establishments, it is a certain energy that lurk around those places. So, and I'm just like feeling very reserved, like reluctant about doing it. But I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna, escort the sister there no matter what. Soon as, and I didn't have no idea of, I'm just like me. As soon as I walked up to the store, I mean, we just like brothers from the hood, they just started greeting me royally, and I was just like, oh yeah, and it was just like the response, in my mind, it was, what do I have to deal with in this situation? But I felt like I was wearing my royal garbs, which was my armor. And it, it just disarmed everybody in the place, because, when I walked in there, it just was like, they looked at me, in a majestic way. And so I know what they was out there trapping hard, 3 o'clock in the morning in the cold, So, I just wanted to hear your stories and also share that story as well.
Great share.
Yeah,
That's a great share. That's a great share.
Yeah, absolutely. And to that point, there's a way to energetically armor up. It might have been, to your point, the energy that you walk with in that garment, but also, I don't know if it was like African print, if it was mud cloth, because certainly, that has its own energy on it too, symbolically, right? And then there's certain ways we can armor up our garments. Even, you can incense it up, you can, put energy on it. Even when I do crystals, absolutely. They even have like copper. I know during the pandemic, as a friend of mine who does copper jewelry, they were weaving copper into the masks, because copper is, pulls out toxins, and it also prevents certain bacteria from coming in about air. So you can weave copper into your clothing. They have so much these days in smart fabrics, what we call smart fabric in the industry, where you can literally armor up your clothing. Like, you can put, like, with the use of nanotechnology, you can have clothing that actually, like, releases aromatherapy essences, scents, off your clothing, essential oils, right? It's amazing what you can do with it. But then to energetically of our own, even when I do ceremonial pieces, I put resin into the pieces, so that, when the wearer puts it on, it's, it's got that energy in it already, whether the resin is frankincense and myrrh, because they're about to, enter to a certain type of ceremony, or if it's a wedding, maybe a certain resin that goes in there and kind of smoke it up and get it all vibrating. But absolutely, there's so much that we can do and have done traditionally, indigenously, when it comes to our garments and our wares, even stitching in symbols. Before you go, when some of the ancient cultures, before they go to war, they stitch in the symbols onto their garments. So yeah, it's definitely a science to it, and behooves us. As I'm talking, I'm like, let me get some classes going.
Yes.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's definitely something we want to partner with too. Because, like, this is going to stimulate those kind of conversations, right, on a larger level, because, like I was saying, even though like doing interviews over the internet, things like that has been great, but just having this exchange energy and being sharing the space, I want to do more stuff like this. Like this is has a more, I guess all the senses are being activated,
absolutely,
right? And so this is worth the trip. Like, yeah, I mean, like this is like, I love her, and so just being in this space and having this conversation and sharing this kind of conversation with you all is, this is definitely the highlight of the day and the highlight of the week, and then just is the way to start off my week. You know what I mean, so like I'm super charged up. So I guess Knowledge is not going to join us. Okay, all right. So let's talk about. You said the wraptologist.
Yes.
So.
So yeah, I am a wraptologist. I teach women and men, mostly women, know how to wrap their hair for one reason or another, whether they're going through the big chop, hair loss, as a means of cultural expression, for spiritual coverage, whatever reason of trending artistic expression. I teach the art of head wrapping, and I infuse the color theory in there as well. Because it's it is another opportunity again to express ourselves outwardly from our inner consciousness, right? And even to the point that I was making earlier about how he approached this the setting, and it seemed like because of his garb, it kind of armored him up and disarmed, the group that he was approaching. Same thing with head wrapping, like is that it can be and has been for a lot of women and men who have wrapped a very transformational experience. It's almost like a crowning of your head. And there's something certainly in the presentation of a head wrap that, has an effect on those who see that approaching them. Sometimes they don't know what to make of it.
Right.
A lot of times, though, there's a respect put on it. Certainly, that also comes with how we own it. But there's something to be said about that for sure. And you can't wear your crown with your head hanging down. Like it just commands you to kind of like carry yourself a certain way. So I can really appreciate what that art form or that offering does, especially for young daughters, young sisters, who, or a woman period, but the younger the better, because the sooner we can kind of get you on a certain trajectory and identifying your I am God, happy divine self, the better. So when you see that happening, you're just like, okay, that's what's up. But yes, I started offering that adornment after years of rocking my own crown and women coming up like, giving me compliments, but also kind of like, man, I could never wrap my hair like that. And I'm like, yeah, you can. It ain't, it ain't too complicated. And a lot of times, the trouble with head wrapping for that women run into is the fabric that they're using is not conducive for what they want to manifest. And so once we get down to the fabrics that work best and the characteristics of fabrics, it's almost like for women, like, we'll have hair, we try to make hair do a certain thing that it doesn't by nature designed to do, and fabrics the same way. So you got to find the fabric that works for what you're trying to create. And then once we get that, then it's about having, an enjoyable experience. It shouldn't be really labor intensive, but I teach it from an African perspective, in the age of antiquity, when we go back to our, ancestors, and the gele of Nigeria, the Yoruba gele, or the number of different headdresses that we wore, I go back to the roots of that royalty, that piece. also too, on a traditional level, a lot of the head wraps that we wore, they signified so much. They were so symbolic. Like if you, it can denote anything from your tribe to your social status to your marital status to your political standing. You know, there's so much symbolism in the head wrap itself. I teach a little bit from that perspective, but the majority of the women who I'm wrapping hair for or are looking to have that tutelage, they're, you know, it's more contemporary.
Right.
You know,
Right.
they just want to kind of rock it instead of wig, or, you know, just kind of express themselves in that way. But I also often like to give that kind of background, so that people know, you know, the women know where it came from. And also too, because in every culture, there's a subculture that wraps their hair. And they might not be melanated. They might not, and a lot of them aren't. You know, but every culture has one. And a lot of times they wrap their hair for spiritual reasons, religious reasons, for climate, you know, to protect them from the elements and that sort of thing. So when, you know, sometimes it comes up in a class about misappropriation, I think, all of head wrapping.
Right.
I'm like, we gotta do the science and you gotta do the research on that. You know, this non-melanated woman has every right to wrap her hair because her ancestors wrapped it a certain way, you know, so she might be wanting to reflect that,
Right.
you know. So we got, you know, we can't just say, oh, woman wrapping her hair, she gotta be black, you know, it's really much deeper than that. But I definitely teach it from an African perspective because that's where my roots are.
You know, just make your heart smile. Like that just makes my heart smile. Mo, you got a question? Another question? Or comment?
Well, I'll share this. I just yesterday I was at King College up in North Jersey, and I'm sorry, Saturday. It was Monday, Saturday. They have an African studies program, and the graduates there, the faculty does a separate graduation for them, ceremony for them prior to the graduation for the whole school. And on auspicious occasion, gives, you know, recognizing them as African scholars, you know, and, you know, it's traditional in a sense. They got the kente, and they brought me in, they commissioned me to create some head wraps for the graduates, you know, to walk out and receive their nomination and like that. But what's so interesting about it is that I was, you know, the intention was to be wrapping most of the women, you know. But half of the wraps were on men, and men, you know, men, brothers who never had the head wrap before, who wanted to experience the crown on their head. And we did like a kufi style kind of head wrap with fabric, and it just again, and I don't often get the opportunity to adorn brothers like that and let them help them to, you know, see themselves as the king they are.
Right.
But it is really such a transformational experience. Like the woman watching them get their hair wrapped, like, oh, you know.
Definitely experienced that. We sitting there doing demonstration on me. They was like walking around. I was like, whew.
Right, because you know it does something with the stature. And then the men themselves, when they look in the mirror and finally it just make them kind of like a little more erect, you know. But it was standing erect, right. Absolutely, stature. But it was a great experience to be a catalyst for, because I know whether they wrap their hair any time after that event is irrelevant, you know, because in that moment they saw something in themselves and felt something and owned it, whether it was a seed or whether something like, I could do this some more, you know. So it's dope to be in the position to kind of do that. And again, it's, you know, it's individual in the response, but the overall, you know, it just has the impact is really interesting.
Wow. Yeah. If you have the opportunity to get your hair wrapped by this here, it's life altering. Um, it's something to experience, even if you don't ever do it again, just to have that experience. Yeah. Yeah.
I would definitely agree. You know, it's a very powerful representation. You know, as a brother wearing your hair wrap, very powerful representation. And you know, I guess and you know, to add on to that story, I didn't have my hair wrapped, so I can only imagine if I had my hair wrapped, you know, the impact you know, that was felt. But I used to wear my hair wrapped often. And I'm just I'm appreciating this conversation because I'm like, man, I need to get back to, you know, especially me you know, coming into my cultural awareness early on. It was like really important for me to, you know, adorn myself in that way. And it, you know, but you know, I kind of laxed out, like, you know, but it's a very powerful thing and necessary for many different reasons. So yeah.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. Why was it important for you to do it at that time?
For me, because I was trying to, I was going through a way of shedding off of this identity that I carried around, and I was embracing more so what I felt was, you know, a true more representation of who, you know, I wanted to be. And so, you know, and I wanted to live, you know, I wanted to walk in that. I wanted to be that, you know, and I wanted to be viewed as so. And so that was important. It became very much a part of me in that time, you know, especially wearing my hair wrap. And it also, I guess, to add on to that, you know, a lot of people, you know, there's a lot of reason why people grow locks. You know, for me, it wasn't, you know, it wasn't trend. It wasn't an aesthetic thing. It was more me tying myself back to my roots. And so, you know, when at the time when I did start my locks, it was like a lot of people had something to say, and you know, and I felt like I wanted to, you know, wrap my crown up. You know, I wanted to wrap my crown up and protect myself in that way as well. So I did it that way.
I like that. Great share, bro.
And it's protective too, you know, certainly because our hair is not, especially with the locks, you know, our hair is 90 like antennas. So it receives energy too. So certainly, you know, I'm always encouraging folks that have locks and just hair period, but locks especially, to cover them, especially if you're in an environment that maybe the energy is not vibrating on your same frequency, or even if you're in a place where, because I'm sure with your locks, people just probably just want to touch your hair just out of curiosity alone, you know, and that's a no-no.
Yeah.
You know? As an energy exchange, that is permission granted only, you know. So I think a lot of times, even for myself, and maybe it's because I've been wrapping my hair for so long that I almost feel naked when I don't have my head wrapped, you know, in certain spaces.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that too. 'Cause in the beginning, I mean, you still, even now, I'm not as protective as I should be, right? As I need to be. But I didn't understand, like you said, that that's an energy exchange, right? And I'm a little bit more aware of it now than I ever been before. So yeah, so to bring to that point, it is something that I'm considering doing more of, because like I said, like there was a lot of tension. Like I got a lot of tension when you did that hair wrap. I mean, it was just like,
Especially tall.
yeah, it was just like,
Because it was red, right?
Yeah. So you got me losing my head. But so, brother, yeah, so come on, make sure you get that experience. And we going to set up something to where we can do that. You know, we're gonna partner on something, some kind of event. Yeah, we're gonna make that happen.
Yeah.
We're gonna make that happen.
Yeah, we need to do that definitely for the brothers. Absolutely.
Yeah, we're gonna make that happen. Would you do like a workshop straight for brothers?
Yeah, The only reason why I haven't really is because the ask hasn't been that strong, right? Because when you think about, I know, like, if we look at the Rasta, the Bobo Shanti specifically, they're the ones that wrap the turban. Most of the times, that tutelage on how to wrap the turban comes from the elder in the tribe. You know, that is kind of like designated for him.
Right.
So I kind of keep respect to that, you know.
Right.
But outside of that, yeah, I'm certainly open for it because a lot of what I'm teaching, whether it, you know, it is applicable for men and women. You know, the woman might be a little more particular because of the hair, our connection with our hair, but as a protective, of a means of protecting the head, some reasons why, yeah, absolutely. You know, for what it can, for the transformational experience it can offer, absolutely.
Okay.
So yeah.
What
and even more importantly too, and I mean across you, but like one thing that comes up often is, you know, I've done head wrap classes or workshops for women and men who wrap their hair for spiritual reasons because of the covenant that we have with the Most High.
Right.
And with those, you know, with that population, they're wrapping their hair, you know, anytime they step out the door because of that honoring, right? But oftentimes what happens is they're wrapping at the expense of taking care of their hair, getting that sun on the hair, getting that prana in your hair, getting that energy in your hair, which is equally as important as honoring your covenant, right? You don't want to honor the covenant and forsake your hair. So when you take your hair wrap off, now you have no hair, your locks is broken off, your hair is dead. You know, that can't be the point of the exercise.
Right.
So it's, you know, there have been times where I've teamed up, a collaborator, partnered up with trichologists and locticians in our workshop so we can address both how to wrap your hair, also how to keep your hair strong, you know, healthy and strong underneath. Because again, that can be a trade-off. Even for myself, I wrap almost all the time. Even myself, I have to give myself those days where I have the elements in my hair so that my hair, you know, is healthy and strong because it's otherwise it defeats the purpose.
Dope. All right, so another part I wanted to touch on is they say that the fashion industry produces 2.4 trillion annually, as far as money, as far as people buying into the fashion. How much of that do you see?
Like as a testimonial?
Yeah. No, like 2.4 trillion is being spent on fashion.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. And then when you talk about the numbers of that, I thought when you said 2.4, I thought you were about to talk about the number of waste in the landfills.
That's the second. That was going to be the second comment. That was going to be the second comment. But I want to touch on that because
fast fashion.
And it's a slow death.
Fast fashion is a slow death, and it's a raping of Mother Earth's resources. You know, in the name of consumerism, and that's what it is. And I've been an advocate for slow fashion, which is the opposite, for as long as I've been in my industry. You know, as long as I've been making clothes, because of the amount of waste, you know, and the piling up in landfills, the slave fingers that are on a lot of. I mean, you know, it's really. To be in the industry and not of it has always been my stance, you know, when it comes to the fashion textile industry. And we got to do better, you know, and we get, especially now with influencers and social media, a lot of times it's the fast fashion keeps perpetuating because it's cheap. So you don't stress buying it, and you certainly don't stress tossing it when you're done.
Right.
You know, and a lot of times the it's not the quality of the fiber is not the same. You know, it used to be a cycle where you had like maybe 5 fashion cycles. You had winter, spring. I mean, you had the fall fashion, fall, winter. You had spring, summer. You had holiday. Where you know it was like maybe 4 or 5 a year. Now you have one last for every month. It seems like. And it's just, you know, but at the same time, and that seems pervasive, what is definitely growing is a consumer consciousness. People are becoming much more conscious in their purchase. They want transparency. The, you know, slow fashion is taking hold, if not out of innate value, but out of necessity, because we just rape Mother Earth so much that we really, you know, we almost have to kind of do thing a little differently. So I'm seeing, and that trend, that slow fashion, sustainable fashioning trend is growing, and it will continue to grow, which is great to see. And because of that fast fashion piece is really, it's a harmful thing. I mean, really, in the cycle of fabric and the effects it has on communities, and again in landfills, and even, you know, you think, you know, shipping used clothes or over to the third world countries. What happens then is that now you influx all this dumping, right? And those that make clothes can't make any money.
Yeah, dumping grounds.
Yeah, dumping grounds. And then it's usually stuff that is usually fabric that is synthetic, so it's not going to be biodegradable anytime, you know.
Right.
And so now what do they do with it now? You know, so it needs, you know, it's an issue for sure.
It's deep because I was just having another conversation about it because I'm in the process.
Yes.
So, but I was doing, like, having a conversation about how they was talking about how they make water bottles and take the water bottles, they recycle the water bottles and making it into thread. So it's like, even though you're recycling it, but you're using it as thread, and now you're washing it, and that's breaking down, and that's making a whole another toxic process, right? So now you put it in the water, and then the particles are getting into your skin, and now your feet. I mean, so it's like, okay, so I
mean, but again, is and we're coming into it. I mean, like I said, I mentioned earlier, smart fashion. That's, you know, all the clothing we ever saw on Star Trek, any sci-fi, you know, you push a button and or you push a part in your clothing and you just, like, that is real. That's happening at this in tangent with the slow fashion, you know, with this more, you know, bring it back to nature, the hemp and the natural, you know. So it's really interesting to see. It's a very for me, it's a very interesting dichotomy of what's happening, you know, because I can appreciate the futuristic side of this smart fashion, just the things it can do on a beneficial level for humans. And I certainly can appreciate pulling it back and bringing it back to basics and using, you know, fabric that is going to last longer, stay stronger, you know, serve us more. Even, you know, recycling, reconstructing fabric. You know, this is even like if you have, say you have, like you talked about your grandmother earlier, I'm sure when she transitioned, she had belongings, you know, maybe favorite clothing that she wore, things like that. Her energy is soaked up in that, right? Her life is up in that, her essence is up in that. So, you know, it's so easy to discard that. That's kind of fabric that we take that and say, let's make some pants off of that. Let's make a quilt, you know, things like that, to that recycle, because that has its place and it's very powerful.
It's a balance. Like, and I look at items like that, and I do have some of her items, but it's stuff like that is alive.
It's alive. It has that essence on it, especially if it's one of her favorite that she wore all the time. You know, there's some energy in that. So, you know, you can make it into a sacred, you know, piece of adornment. So,
it's comforting. It provides a comfort. So I'm glad we did touch on that. So we did touch on the sustainability, because they're saying that industry is the second largest polluting producing.
What was the first one?
I don't even say. I don't even know.
I was saying,
what you think?
automotive maybe,
Yeah.
or like the tech stuff, like when you just car batteries or
Yeah. I'm looking into that.
stuff.
But I was doing research on the fashion, and they were just saying that was one of the things. Yes, it's the second. So I'm doing my research.
Because between the fabric and the dyes,
and like you said, the tossing the clothes away,
all that,
and so that's what my brand is about. Upcycling clothes, the things that you can use, you can Africanize anything that you have, right? So put a strip of African fabric on this, so you don't have to toss it away, right? You can restructure it. And so even though we have the t-shirts, and I'm moving more towards 100% cotton t-shirts now, and putting, a more eco-friendly, conscious, far as like paints and things like that. So I'm doing my research with that, but I just really wanted to push that message.
Just we're taking a more conscious approach to the cycle, like transparency in the cycle, and again, let alone the hands that's making these clothes, and a lot of the big corporations, big brands, we might think we're looking at 5 different brands, but 9 times out of 10 is one brand that's making all these, but it's all about consumerism, and just another way to do it. That's why I have a class called The Fundamentals of Raw Clothing Construction, which both of you brothers took, and I was so glad you did.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah.
I still got my notes and my tools.
Yeah, exactly. And there will always be a place for that class, no matter how much time goes by, because it brings it back to basics.
But that's the thing too. I think that class inspired me to do to start to be my clothing brand, because it was just like the importance.
Yeah, y'all was getting it in.
Yeah. We were so excited.
Both y'all was getting it in.
We were so excited.
Like none of my students.
We were so excited. All right, so we are going to be coming close to the end of the show, right? Coming to the end of this exchange, and we're gonna have our last words.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm so glad we was able to make this happen.
Yes,
and Brother Kamel for jumping in and being a part of it, because we talk behind the scenes all the time, and so I'm certainly I've been on that format for so long, but now kind of getting more comfortable in telling the story and sharing some of the passion behind why I do what I do and why it needs to be done. But on an end note, since we're closing up, I wanted to put a little PSA for an event we have coming up this Saturday at the Chamonix Mall. This store has a pop-up shop in the mall called the Wedding Pop-Up Shop. And basically it's a brick and mortar space in the mall. And we're going to be featuring our 4th annual Head Wraps Yoga and Curves event there. It is a wellness event, and it features different presenters speaking on, health and wellness, right? So I'll be talking about kind of what I did in more length, grounding with color, how color can subdue or enhance our energies, and showing a few tips and tricks for wrapping our heads and some styles. We have Sister Samut Shepra. She's my sister in prosperity and business partner and in this event, and she'll be teaching Chakralini yoga. You were there a couple of years ago, so you got to
see firsthand.
Yeah. And my macho will be doing the food. We have some really, really cool vendors, artisans, crafters, practicing slow fashion. A lot of them in the healing arts are going to be in a wellness marketplace. We're going to have sound bowl healing sessions, Sister Vic, and a sister coming in, Sister Jennifer, teaching about land ownership, home ownership, because wealth is part of our inheritance, but we just don't know usually how to go about obtaining it, sustaining it. And so, that's going to be this Saturday, May 11th, in honor of Mother's Day, also National Women's Health Month. And this is our 4th annual. It's from 12 to 6. You can find, we're giving away free tickets from our sponsors, our have afforded us the opportunity to give away some free tickets. Queen Yaz is going to be the MC. If anyone knows Queen Yazzie. And so we'll be giving away free tickets. So to find out more about how to get those free tickets, you can go on our Instagram page as Simply Netfah. Simply Netfah on Instagram and DM me for those free tickets. And we look forward to seeing you there. It's going to be a fantastical event.
Come on, is she beautiful? She's beautiful. Yes.
Yeah,
So you
I
don't
just
want to miss that
definitely.
event, man. It was a great. It was a great event. A lot of information. Great information. I'm gonna try to make it through. I had some other prior engagements, but I'm gonna try to make it through.
Yeah,
Even if I just slide through, so
yeah, absolutely, and because it's an annual event, and again, a lot of the women who are going to be in the marketplace, in the wellness marketplace, they are here too at I&I Collective. There are artisans here, so if you come to I&I Collective at 1439 North 52nd Street in the heart of West Philly, you can see their artisans, their offerings here as well.
wow, yeah. So I'm gonna take the time because she has other obligations that she put. But if you stick with us, I will give you a nice view of her spot, and maybe you can feel the energy that I'm feeling right now. Kamua, any last?
Yeah, I'm just want to.
Oh, then that's the way to close out. That's the way. That's the urban shaman. That's the urban shaman way right there. But yeah, so again, thank you for taking this journey with us, and hope you see if you have got any value from this. Just type "Be My Eye" on any social media outlets and share. And share. And if you have any ideas or suggestions on things that would like for us to talk about, share those as well. If you like this content, there's plenty other content on this platform right here. They can also use your assistance, right? And so usually he has the ticker down there, and there it is. All right. So if you can, show some support by liking, sharing, commenting on this specific episode, or you can show some monetary love, right? By the Cash App. And you can do that with Be My as well. We're pretty self-sufficient, but we could take any kind of donations. It will be helping towards our mission, just empower our people and inform and empower our people, and to where they can experience true liberation and freedom.
And there's more programs like this, for sure. Yeah, my brother's putting it down. I'm so proud of him.
Oh, that's awesome. And that means everything to me. That means everything to me. Because this work it's a labor of love. It's truly a labor of love. And I know how I have benefited greatly from just knowing myself, doing the work to myself and learning our history and our lineage. And so I want that for everyone. And I want it as early as possible for everyone. And so this is my labor of love. This is my offering to you. I should say our, because it's a team effort. I might be the face of it, but there's a team effort involved. And I love you. I love you with all my being. And so, yeah, that's my closing statement. Be good, be my eye to become a master of your life. And that's what it's all about. Embodying the 7, 10, and the 42. And trying to play out the 42 as much as you possibly can, right? The 42 laws of my eye, the 10 principles of my eye, and the 7 virtues of my eye. And if you practice those things on a daily basis, you will become the best version of yourself. And so I'm going to say that's my closing statements. Be my eye, become a master of life. Peace and blessings. And now I'm just going to take you on this virtual tour real fast. And give the address again.
It's 1439 North 52nd Street. We sit under One Arts umbrella. if anyone's ever been to One Art. So it's 4 Black-owned, women-owned businesses under one institution. So it's Plant and People, Atiola Spirit First Foods, I Not Collective, and One Art. It's it's definitely the model for liberation. Collective work. That's to your point. We are forced on our own, but collectively we can do amazing things.
We have done amazing things.
Yeah.
And this is, like you said, this is a great testament to that.
Yeah.
And wow. And I didn't even think about the women, all women, Black owners.
Yeah, Black women.
Wow.
They said it couldn't be done, that we can't get along, but tell them otherwise.
This is how we open up May, bro. Like, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. This wasn't intentional, y'all. Like, this wasn't by my design, right? I just knew we had troubles before linking up, and I just want to make sure that this time that it happens, right? And so my idea was like, if I'm here, if anything happened technically, we can use my phone, but everything worked out perfect.
It sure did. And I got to hang out with you in the flesh.
This is awesome. So again, all right, I'm gonna say peace for real this time, and we're gonna take this virtual tour. So you want to do the tour, or you want to?
I can do it real quick. Should I do it on my phone?
Yeah, you can just turn that thing around and do your narration while you.
Okay. So yeah.
Or is that your hand?
No, it's good.
Okay, good.
So yeah, we're stepping into I Collective. Again, it's a Black-owned. It's a Black-owned, women-owned collective, but it houses designs and creations from Black and Brown artisans throughout the tri-state area. So everything from the jewelry, you can see that there, to the painted t-shirts, the bags. Take you upstairs a little bit here. Not only do we have items on the shelves and on the racks that are hand created and with love from Black and Brown artisans, but we also host a plethora of different classes and workshops here that are designed to raise the vibrations. So anything from yoga classes to our new moon circles, to we have Yoni Love Herbals. Sister Hadida comes in and does some of her work here. We have alchemy, head wrapping for brothers and sisters, not just for women only. So I'm hoping I'm catching this little piece of heaven we call home. And even we have byproducts from our organic garden out back. So if you've been to One Art, we have a garden out back. We have horses, we have peacocks. Some of these peacocks' feathers are from the peacocks when they shed them naturally. And we recycle them because we're all about sustainable fashioning. All right. So thank you again, everyone. I don't know how to turn this off. Thank you.
Priesthood. I miss you, mommy, kiss you, golly. Christian body, flying dish, reminisce of Garvey. Surrounded by the elders, probably. Then I sit with Gandhi. Mahalia, the whalers with Marley. Afro beats, a supernatural priest. Carry the sword of the Lord, clash with the beast. After me, there's casualties, catastrophes, disaster, drastically. I write along passionately, microphone mastery. Tribe known the Maccabees. They say I look like an Olmec. Books of the old text. African Bush or Kush or the Hoteps. After came a pharaoh who knew not Joseph. But kings reign the same apparel, same culture. Every time I rhyme, they add wings to my sculpture. Every line's a paradigm, bring supernova. The being future holder. Elohim, see through dreams, out the rain, ride the streams like I'm Noah. Moses, I throw my staff, turn the cobra. Vipers fast, bite the staff, bite the soldiers. With this microphone, I'm everlast, I'm Jehovah. The first to work, I'm never last, I'm the owner. All of the things I'm talking, not the yeah. Try what you not do if you're not the fair. My mind they tell me to disappear, yeah. So come and help me, cause I don't pray, my man. I don't
miss yesterday. What the no get enemy? See you for what's in it. I put up my eyes, then shut my eyes, just good. I cry, offshore, got my dread love. Leave me, I don't pray, Mohammed, I don't pray, come on, man.